Hey everybody, it's Britt and I am here with Ange and we are the Hardest Part is Getting Started podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or Rumble. Today's episode is traveling and how to stay on track, which is something that we all think about, wonder, sometimes deal with, sometimes just don't.
Yeah, it's part of life.
Yep.
Part of life. Yeah, so traveling is something that most of us do for fun. I would say there are people out there who travel for work too, so you got to take that into account. But I am going to talk a little bit more about traveling from my point of view. So when I travel, I don't travel for work. I travel just for fun. Maybe one day I'll have a cool travel job. Who knows? But right now, when I would, so we take two kinds of trips. I have a couple kids and they have breaks throughout the year. And so we'll have some planned trips that we usually have. Then, now that my kids are getting a little bit older, my husband and I have really been trying to plan a few more trips that are just he and I. So, when I think about traveling, I try to think of it as something that's fun and how can I make it fun without being like totally off track, coming from more of like that balanced point of view. So I kind of think of it as like a 50-50. If we're staying somewhere that we have access to, like a fridge and a stove and all of that, I definitely will go grocery shopping and stock up on healthy things. So trying to make sure that for breakfast, for lunch, we have stuff we can cook. We have stuff in the house that we're able to just eat that's a little bit more healthy. Then let's say, for instance, we'll go out for dinner and maybe that dinner is going to be a little bit more off like a normal meal that I would have. I'd have a burger and fries instead of like a salad. So how can I keep it balanced? I like to kind of think of it coming from that standpoint without like straight up going like balls to the wall, like eating all the terrible things, drinking all the things, and then coming home feeling like, oh my gosh, why did I do that to myself? As opposed to like, let's make sure it's just a little bit more on the balance side. So having fun, but not totally undoing all of that progress. A few things that I think you can do is if you're traveling on a plane, you can pack some snacks like protein bars, depending on, what kind, whether or not you have to pack it away in your luggage. You can pack protein powder. You can pack, just like some healthy snacks. If you know you're going to a destination where you can pop into a grocery store, make sure that you go in, you stock up on your proteins, you can get vegetables and fruits just to have that stuff. So having readily available healthy food, that's going to be, the chunk of what you eat. And then when you go out to meals and dinners, you can splurge, have an ice cream or, whatever, have some dessert, enjoy. So you're not 100% like, okay, I have to be so super strict that my family's like, what are you doing? They're watching me be able to have like that balance, which is kind of how we live at home too, right? So I think being able to have that balance, have some fun, and then come home and be able to get right back into like your normal day to day. So I think being balanced is a little bit more my style when I travel. But again, having a few things, that are going to keep me on track where I'm not like totally having no idea what I'm going to eat. Now, if we're staying like in a hotel and we don't have access to, usually that would be more like just my husband and I will take a look at the restaurants in the area and try to plan a little bit more of the healthier meals that I can get. And then definitely take some extra snacks with me, trail mixes and things that are healthy that I can kind of have in the meantime. So I think for me, it's just because we travel so much for fun. I kind of keep it on the more balanced side, making sure that I'm able to enjoy with my family, but again, not come home feeling like I just totally undid like all of the progress that it looks like Britt has to go. She's got her animals. They're like her babies. So yes, I just wanted to kind of touch more on that balance standpoint. When you are planning your trip, take a look at how you want to have that trip play out for you. And then thinking about how often you travel, and then thinking about, okay, if you are traveling for work, How can it be a little bit more structured? And that is kind of what Britt is going to speak to today.
Yeah, so I kind of, when I travel, do, I'm not saying the opposite, but I do have a lot of dietary restrictions and allergies and such. So I travel much differently. And those who travel with me know me and my lifestyle. I think the only time I didn't do a workout while traveling was actually this past November, and I went snowboarding for the day instead. So still being active, but just I wasn't in an actual gym setting.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if I go somewhere, I do look for places that I can have access to a kitchen, and I will go and get my own food and make my own meals. Or if I am able to find out more what they have, say if it's at an all inclusive, what's available at their all you can eat or their buffets and stuff like that, just to see if I'm actually even able to eat there. I also too will maybe allow, if I'm there for that week, 1 or 2 cheat meals, or I don't like using that word cheat meal, but let it, like, I'm not gonna ever say no to pizza. Let's be honest. It's my kryptonite. Like, I'll always eat it.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so yeah, that's always gonna happen. So that's my one time where I'm much more lenient. But with the whole being structured thing, I personally, when traveling and I'm looking at resorts and such, I find ones that actually have a gym, and then I actually read the reviews of that to see if that gym's going to work out for me or not, or if I know someone that's actually been. It's like one of my best friends, her husband's a travel agent, so I can find out if because they might have been there potentially, or friends have gone there. Is this gym any good?
Smart.
Or what are things I can find out about it? But I have I always say I pack my rubbers, with my resistance bands. Right?
Safety first. Safety first.
Yeah, exactly. So the giant ones, I think they're called monster bands. Like, I've always called them monster bands. I've heard other names for them.
Okay.
But I pack those. I pack the mini loop ones or the booty bands, and then I also pack just your traditional resistance bands with the door anchor and the door anchor. What else? But it has like all the different pieces. It usually comes in a nice little bag, anyways. So
yeah,
I think that altogether, if I remember correctly, weighs 7 pounds for all 3 sets of those bands.
nice.
So it's not very much in the luggage. I usually pack pretty light to begin with. So I usually do more shopping than anything. But there's that option. Or I have done in the past, I packed my sandbag, of course, empty, but take that and then I fill it at the beach, and then I do my workout with the nice little lounge chairs and the sandbag.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, that's just what I've done in the past. Going forward, and whoever I bring into my life or comes into my life that goes traveling with me, like, buckle up, buckaroo, we're gonna be working out every day.
Smart.
But or they can just sleep, I don't care. But I know what I'm doing anyways. But there's tons of options out there. Like, if you're staying in hotels, there is so many resources out there, and I even have a program that is geared towards traveling, and it's all hotel friendly workouts, because I have, with my old job and partially now my new position with my job, I travel a lot. So and I go stir crazy if I can't move. So yeah, I made a program where it's very minimal equipment, but you can get a really good workout in just in your hotel room. You might have some neighbors kind of wondering what you're doing, but hey, at least you're getting a good workout in.
Yeah, but and I think it kind of comes back to having a plan for your travel too. So
exactly,
you know what you have going on day to day. When can you schedule it in?
And how much time you got for that time. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And then too, like, big things that I prioritize with, especially with the all-inclusives, is just the alcohol is unlimited. Water's hard to get, which drives me nuts, the thoughts of, like, and thinking of that. And pop is almost just as easily accessible, or the slushies that they provide there. And what I do is I forget what the company's called, but there's water bottles. You can get them on Amazon. I'm sure after you listen to this, it'll pop up on Instagram and all your other feeds anyways.
Yeah.
But it's the self-sterilizing water bottles that you can put water in and it will sterilize it so it's safe to drink.
Smart.
Take that with me, and that way I'm not worried about any funky stuff going on with the water. And I'm not waiting for my 1 a-day, 1.5 liter, or I don't know what that would be in gallons, unfortunately, but the big water bottles that they leave at the resorts.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for that one that you get a day. That's supposed to be what you are supposed to handle for a day, when technically we're supposed to be drinking 2 and almost a half of one of those.
Yeah.
So things like that. And then
smart.
also too, the alcohol consumption as well. Like, really think about, like, if you're going in structure, and this is what I'm talking about right now and expressing, is the structure. Like, I'm sticking to my plan. Like, I'm not, like, I might grace myself with that pizza or that ice cream there, like that one little thing, or the iced coffee, whatever your crutch is. But with saying that, the alcohol, if you're drinking more than 2 drinks a week, the amount of estrogen that you're putting into your body, which is going to cause that beer belly, that extra fluffiness that no one, male or female, wants.
No.
Like, you're sure you're going on holidays, you're supposed to like loose and relax, but if it's going to cause you problems when you get home, like, crap, now I have to work 2 or 3 weeks now to get rid of that 1 week.
Right.
To me, like, that annoys me, and just that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I don't put myself there.
I think we could do a whole episode probably on alcohol. That would probably be one to
We should
add to the list, because it's like it's a whole nother topic that I agree.
It is definitely. Yeah. So yeah. So like, just thinking like things like that, that's something that is constantly gonna be thrown at your face, and it's easier to get and get access to.
Right.
Even when you're staying at a hotel, it's just easy walk down to the bar at the hotel than like going to the vending machine. So that's not even that much of a greater option, but it's harder to get a bottle of water than it is to get alcohol or pop or something else that's not the best for our bodies.
Right.
Another thing you can think about potentially, if you really want to keep yourself in like in your structure and not get off track, even if you're having these urges coming towards you, is fasting. It's one of those things, though, if you start it, you really should continue on with it. That 1 week, it could benefit, but it might not. It just depends on how strict you want to be, but that is an option for you as well. I have done that in the past, especially for when it was my wedding, like almost 5 years ago now, or 6 years ago. I did fast for that because I did not want to jeopardize. My dress was custom, and it was like weeks before, and there was no fixing if it wasn't going to work. So I fasted to make sure that I was going to fit in it, and it did work for me, but everyone's different. So I'm not going to say it's going to work for you, because I honestly don't know, and I do not want to take that gamble or karma.
For real. But or if you know that you're going into a situation that's tricky, if you have dietary restrictions, maybe do a shorter fast, like a few weeks leading up to it, kind of get yourself ready to see if you can handle that. I think a big part of traveling, whether you're going my route, which is more balanced, or Brit's route, which is more structured, is walking into it knowing that mindset ahead of time. So how am I going to structure this travel? How am I going to structure this trip? Is it going to be where, okay, I'm having a little bit more fun, I'm a little bit more laxed, or am I really going into this structured? And I think that in and of itself will help to keep you on track. So like, if you are more structured and your buddy's like, hey, let's go, grab some drinks, you're like, okay, I'll go with you, but you're going to grab something that isn't alcoholic because it's not what you want to do. So just coming in with that mindset, I think, is going to be a big piece of that puzzle.
And I don't know about you, but I find a lot of the times, if you are, say, the more balanced lifestyle, you're going to go with people that are that more balanced way. And if you are the more structured or strict, depending like what level of a scale you want to go,
right,
you're probably not going to travel with somebody that's going to be wasted by 10 a.m.
right,
kind of thing, right? So it just depends on who you're traveling with, the group you're in, and how well you guys all know each other. Too, potentially that might be it. But like you said, like, you always have the option of saying no or making the smartest decision for you at that moment. So
set some boundaries going into the trip. And then I think too, I always do try to get some movement in, whether it's going out for a short run or a walk, or is there a restaurant we can walk to and from? Can we go get coffee in the morning? So how can we add in a little bit of movement to each day? Maybe it's not as specific as, okay, I'm going to like lift and do these things on these specific days, but I am going to get a little bit more movement in. Can I hit my step goal by walking to the grocery store or taking the kids for a walk down the beach, playing at the park, just adding some more movement in so it becomes fun. There are some trips that we go on where we drive and I will pack a few weights, and then that trip becomes a little bit more where I can work out for 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the morning. And then I'm not quite as worried about, can I have a burger and some fries later in the day and not feel like it's going to pull me so far off track. So again, just going into it, knowing how you want to have it structured, I think is a really important piece for yourself, whichever way you want to travel, balanced or structured. Yeah. So anything else to add?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. So
we can go on forever, but really it's just going to keep circling back to basically, are you going to be balanced? Are you going to be structured? End of the scale, you're going to go with your.
Are you going to be Britt? Or are you going to be Ange? Which one? So.
Hey, and like your way is not bad. Like
no, anyway, but I think it's just figuring out which way you want to do it, and then being able to hold yourself accountable to that. And if you do end up a little bit more laxed, when you thought you were going to be structured, okay, cool. Or if you get a few extra workouts in when you didn't think you were going to get any in, all right, awesome. So,
it's all gravy. Like
ultimately enjoying yourself, because, how often do you get to travel and living at that vacation the way you want to live, and come home happy? I think that's the most important part. So
exactly. Yeah, it's supposed to be making memories, not so much making like gains or whatever, right? So
yeah,
it's definitely
it can be a little bit of fun and a little bit of work, and and enjoy yourself. So yeah, all right. So we just want to thank you guys so much for joining us today and for being a part of our podcast world, and make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, all the things. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. As always, we'd love to hear from you. If you have questions, comments, or any topics you'd like to hear, feel free to reach out.
Yes, please do. Our next episode will be injury and how to get back out there again. So stay tuned for updates on that. We'll post when we'll be airing that episode. And then, of course, getting started is the hardest part, but we're here to help. And Ange and I are just sending out all the love today. Have the most amazing day. And be kind to yourself.
See you next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.